In the quiet, misty hills of Devgarh, where every sound echoes through the ancient forests, Aditya Mishra's life was forever changed when he met Sanjana Rawat, a local schoolteacher. Their casual meetings at school events and teacher association gatherings slowly deepened into a profound connection. Aditya saw a rare stillness in Sanjana's eyes, and she felt a deep respect in his words, the kind every woman hopes to find in a life partner. Months later, Aditya finally gathered his courage. "If I were to ask to spend my life with you," he said, "would you have me?" Sanjana smiled softly. "I already consider you mine." But their love was shadowed by a difficult truth. Shruti, Sanjana's younger sister, though not highly educated, Shruti was a kind and understanding girl. Without Aditya's explicit consent, the family elders had already settled on a match between him and Shruti. Aditya's heart, however, belonged only to Sanjana. He finally confessed the situation to Sanjana. "I was about to ask for your hand, but my family has fixed my alliance with Shruti. I didn't know she was your sister. I want to marry only you." Sanjana's face hardened for a moment. "Shruti, you must let me be the one to explain it to her. She is reasonable. Perhaps she will understand." For days, Sanjana tried to find the right moment, but her courage failed her each time. Finally, she approached Shruti in the veranda. "There is something I must say, though it may hurt you, sister." "Why so serious? Is everything all right?" Shruti asked. "The man your marriage is fixed to, Aditya. He is my beloved." Shruti's face went blank. After a long silence, she asked quietly, "Do you both love each other?" Tears welled in Sanjana's eyes. "Yes, I never meant to take anything from you. It just happened." Shruti looked at her sister for a long moment, then smiled faintly. "Be happy, Didi. That is enough for me." The two sisters embraced, their bond stronger than the complicated situation. Later, Aditya apologized to Shruti, who only told him, "Never let her feel the lack of my love. Just never let my sister break." A love cut short 3 happy years of marriage passed. Their love remained strong, filled with morning tea rituals, laughter, and shared evenings. Then, one night, everything shattered. "I feel a heaviness in my heart," Sanjana said suddenly. "Something doesn't feel right." A sharp pain gripped her chest. She was rushed to the hospital, but the doctors could do nothing. Heart failure. The next morning, at the village cremation ground, Sanjana was given her final farewell. Her face was peaceful, but her eyes remained open. The priest recited mantras, the wood was stacked, and Aditya lit the pyre. Yet, as the fire burned, a strange thing happened. The body would not turn to ash. The pyre merely smoldered, refusing to blaze fully. A whisper moved through the crowd. "She does not wish to leave. Her soul is trapped by attachment." Aditya heard the words, but in his grief, they barely registered. Only a strange, heavy weight settled in his own chest. The first apparition that night, Aditya returned to an empty, silent house. Waking at 2 a.m. for water, he walked into the dark kitchen. In the moonlight from the window, he saw a figure standing by the sink. A red sari, flowing hair, the back turned to him. His voice trembled. "Sanjana." As the figure began to turn its neck, he knew. It was Sanjana, his deceased wife, whose ashes should have been cold. He stumbled back, and in the blink of an eye, she was gone. Sleep eluded him after that. The line between reality and his grieving mind began to blur. A new bond and an unseen observer. Aditya's profound loneliness became evident to all. Shruti started visiting him often, bringing food, cleaning his house, and offering companionship. Slowly, their conversations deepened, filled with shared laughter and comfortable silences. A new connection began to form, and their families, seeing them as a source of solace for each other, approved of a future union. But they were not alone. Sanjana's spirit was watching. Strange occurrences became frequent. People reported seeing a woman in a red sari vanishing at street corners. Inside the house, kitchen items were found scattered, and on some evenings, Aditya would return to find a freshly made, warm cup of tea. Even when Shruti hadn't visited. One evening, Aditya saw Shruti in the kitchen. "Shruti," he called softly. She turned, and his heart stalled. It was Shruti's face, but the smile, the slight tilt of the head, it was all Sanjana. He realized with dawning horror that Sanjana wasn't just watching from the shadows. She was beginning to inhabit Shruti. The possession. As days passed, Shruti's mannerisms changed completely. She began to dress like Sanjana, wear the same perfume, and even make tea in Sanjana's unique way. It was as if Aditya had married Sanjana all over again. The fear truly set in at night. Aditya would wake feeling a weight on his chest, a cold breath on his face. Shruti would spend hours before the mirror, adjusting her sari. One day, staring at her reflection, she said, "No one can separate us now, Sanjana." Aditya whispered, his voice shaking. "Is that you?" Shruti turned slowly, a faint, familiar smile on her lips. "I never left, Aditya. You burned my body. But my love didn't die. Why Shruti's body? This is her life, not yours. Because you were mine. How can someone else take my place? This body is mine now, and so are you." The spirit's demands began. She asked for strange rituals, sacred oil lamps, a statue from the temple of their first meeting. Then, the demands turned darker. A sacrifice is needed. Not a goat, not an animal. A human one. Aditya, terrified that the spirit would harm Shruti or their unborn child, for Shruti was now pregnant, complied with the smaller demands. But he knew he was losing her. The exorcism broken and desperate, Aditya sought out Baba Sudarshan Nath, an ascetic known for freeing trapped spirits. "Son, a soul trapped by attachment is the most dangerous," the Baba warned. "The line between love and madness vanishes. To remove it is as difficult as separating a man from his own breath. You could lose your life." "I am ready," Aditya replied. "Just save Shruti," following the Baba's instructions. Aditya gathered the required items: ashes from a cremation ground collected on a moonless night, a dried branch from a peepal tree, a lamp of black sesame oil, and a handful of earth from where Sanjana was cremated. On the appointed night, a circle was drawn in the living room. As the Baba chanted mantras, the air grew cold. The windows rattled violently. Shruti's body began to convulse. Her voice, a grotesque blend of her own and Sanjana's, screamed, "Aditya, what are you doing? I will not leave you. Sanjana, this is wrong. Let Shruti go. Let our child go. If I can't have you, no one will. I was your first and last love." The entity shrieked. The Baba intensified his chants, throwing the peepal branch into the fire and sprinkling the sacred ashes around Shruti. Finally, he commanded Aditya for the earth from the cremation site. As he threw it into the fire, he declared, "As this body returned to the earth, so shall your soul be free." A piercing scream tore from Shruti's lips as a wisp of black smoke rose from her body and vanished into the flames. She collapsed, unconscious. "It is over," the Baba said warily. "But remember, an obsessed soul is never fully destroyed. It only sleeps, waiting for the right moment." Aftermath. When Shruti awoke, she remembered nothing. After she regained her strength, Aditya told her the entire, horrifying story. She was horrified, the truth turning her face pale and her hands cold. "You mean, my sister was inside me?" she whispered. Before breaking down in tears, Aditya gathered both families and revealed everything. The strange events they had dismissed as newlywed quirks were now explained, leaving everyone in stunned silence. A collective decision was made. It was no longer safe for them to live in that house. Aditya was left with the Baba's final warning echoing in his mind. The fear and unease in his heart had not disappeared. Some bonds, it seemed, were too strong even for death to break, and some loves, when twisted by obsession, could become a haunting.